brief about Simplilearn and what we do. We provide career learning paths and certifications in various categories, including data science, GenAI, machine learning, project management, Agile and Scrum, business analytics, and a lot more. We have helped more than 8 million people in their career growth across 150 plus countries with more than 150 partnerships. So, speaking of partnerships, you can see the array of our esteemed partners here. The program that we develop and provide are in association with prestigious institutions like Michigan Engineering Professional Education, Virginia Tech, IITM, IIT Kanpur, and a lot more. We also partner with leading organizations as well, such as Google, Microsoft, and IBM. But what we're really, really proud of is how our programs have impacted our learners. We have more than 80% of our learners saying that they've had a very good experience and they've rated us more than 4.8 on 5. This really shows the kind of learning experience and dedicated guidance we've been able to provide to millions. And speaking of dedicated guidance, I'm at the one of the most exciting parts of the webinar, which is welcoming the guest speaker, our guide, our expert, Solomon Promise. Solomon is a GenAI and machine learning expert and a seasoned data science instructor who brings a wealth of experience to our Simplilearn programs. He has successfully trained over 1,000 learners in his career. With expertise in teaching Python for data science and machine learning, Solomon has not just taught these topics, but he's also really excelled in them. He has top ranked in hackathons, which showcases his exceptional problem solving skills and his ability to work with complex data sets. Solomon's notable projects include credit card fraud detection, healthcare provider fraud detection, and even voltage prediction for the Nigeria grid system. These projects really reflect the depth of knowledge and practical experience. So, with Solomon as your guide, I'm sure that you're in capable hands to learn how to create an LLM-powered app today. Solomon, it's a pleasure to have you here. Please add on to that introduction and say your hi to more than 500 participants that we have here.
Hi, everyone. Can you all hear me?
Okay. Great. Okay, so I just have some queries coming in about the recording. I want to let everyone know that yes, we will definitely be sharing the recording for all the participants who stay throughout the session. This is a very interactive, hands-on session, so we want to ensure that you use this as a guidance later on as well. So we will be sharing the recording for everyone. And we have just gone live on LinkedIn and YouTube as well. So I want to welcome all those who are viewing us there and joining us from different parts of the world. Before we move on, I just want to let everyone know that I am keeping the chat option open to only hosts and panelists. You can drop whatever questions or comments that you have, but only the host and panelists will be able to see it. This is to ensure that the constant pinging of chats is not disturbing the other participants. If you have any queries, like I mentioned, please use the Q&A box as well. And if you are having any trouble understanding or following through the session, there is a show captions option that you would see in the navigation bar below. So ensure to click on that so that you will be able to get subtitles as and when we speak. Right. Okay. With that, we will kick off this webinar with a quick poll. We are eager to hear from everyone. Whether have you created anything using a large language model LLM yet? Please share your responses in the chat. Hey, have you used an API? B, have you worked on a small application demo or workflow? C, are you only experimenting with prompts on ChatGPT? Or D, you haven't built anything yet? Okay, we have a lot of responses coming in. Some of you have used APIs and a few of you worked on apps before. But most of you are saying that you have not used LLM to build anything yet. which is exactly why we're here with this topic. Not just this poll, but many surveys out there have also indicated that more than 85% of today's working force has been using ChatGPT and other LLMs at least once in the career, but only less than 5% have built or learned to build anything with LLMs. So in the next 3 hours, we're going to be deep diving into this fascinating world of LLMs and the importance of architectural thinking over working with prompts. But we're not here to just talk about theory. By the end of the session, you'll have practical insights into building a functional LLM application. And most of you, if you're able to follow through effectively, might have also a functional LLM application that you built at the end of the session. So before we continue, a quick note on how you can approach the workshop. As Solomon demonstrates the application build, you're welcome to follow along in whichever way works best for you. Many learners prefer to observe the workflow first, understand each step, and then apply the same approach later, to their own use cases in their convenience. Once again, let me tell you that we'll be sharing the full session of the recording with you over email, so you can revisit the process anytime. But if you would like to follow along live, you can do so using the same tools and frameworks shown in the workshop. Just note that it requires some setup and integrations, which might take a little while, but we will be guiding you through that. Either way, the goal of this session is to help you clearly understand how LLM applications are structured, so you can confidently start building during it or right after it. Okay, so moving on, you will also get a sneak peek into our applied GenAI specialization program from Michigan Engineering Professional Education. Okay, I think I've taken enough time with the introductions and agenda. Without any further ado, let's begin with understanding a bit more about LLMs and generative AI, especially for the benefit of the beginners and students here. Solomon, over to you. Can you please, start the session with explaining what an LLM is?
All right, thank you so much. Welcome everyone to this wonderful session. And like Anya said, it's going to be a hands-on session where you have to build alongside with me as you watch me build. So, but before we get to the building side, we want to set some foundation and some basics that are very necessary for the building process. So we'll start out with LLMs. What are LLMs? LLMs in today's world is not something you do not know. It's something that you've always interacted with, from ChatGPT to Gemini to large language to cloud AI. All of those are applications of LLMs anyway. They are not LLMs in themselves. So what is LLM? LLM is the abbreviation for large language model. Large language model. A model that predicts text. A model that predicts text. So when we talk about large language model, they predict text by generating the next words. We call them tokens. Yeah, based on what's come before. For example, if I say I am a, you can fill in the other way to say boy. If I say he is a, you can't say girl, you'd have to say boy. If I say she is a, you say woman, girl, you can't say man, you can't say boy. So that's what LLM does. They understand the context, and based on that understanding, they're able to predict the next word. And they do this using probability. What I mean is that the results of LLMs are not fixed. For example, if I do 1 + 1, it's always 4. 2 rather. If I do 1 + 1, I always get 2. The result is fixed. But if I go to ChatGPT and ask it, what is a noun? ChatGPT tells me a noun. The next time I ask it, what is a noun? It's not going to necessarily change the definition of a noun, but the output would not be exactly the same. So I can ask the same things and I get slightly different outputs. That's because it works using probability. Now, when we talk about large language models, they are called large actually because of the amount of data sets they are trained upon. We have models that are language models, but they are not necessarily large language models because of the amount of data sets they are trained upon. So when we say large language models, we are referring to models that are trained on large amount of data. This data includes textbooks, articles, websites. They are trained on large amounts of text in billions and trillions of text. And they are trained on a very special type of architecture called transformer architecture. I was teaching my learners last week, Sunday, yes, and we're talking about transformer architecture. Transformer architecture was developed in the year 2017 by some, I think, Google developers. That was what revolutionized transformers or large language model. Before then, we never had things like ChatGPT, we never had things like Gemini, and so on and so forth. But because of transformer, it revolutionized how how AIs, algorithms can process language. Now we have something called attention mechanism in transformers. Before transformers, what architectures like recurrent neural network, long short-term memory, LSTM, gated recurrent memory. If you're not familiar with these terms, sorry about that. Had transformers. These terms try to understand the order. Now, the thing with text and sequential data is that order matters. If I say I am a boy, or if I say what is LLM or what is an LLM, if I change the order to is an LLM what, that has distorted the meaning. So sequential data set requires the understanding. Sequential data set has that order, and we need architectures, models that can actually understand this order. Now, not just the order, they can also understand the relationship of text in a sequence. So if I say, what is an LLM? There is a relationship between what and LLM, because LLM is what I'm trying to understand. So we understand this very well as humans, but the models that existed before transformer architectures, they did not understand this. But when they did understand this anyway, but they had issues when the text become very, very long. So transformer architecture makes it very, very easy for algorithms or this model to understand the context, to understand the relationship between texts, the relationship of words between text. And that's exactly, or that's basically what revolutionized the whole field of large language models or natural language processing. So I'm just going to keep it there for now. If you want to learn this further, you can check out attention mechanism. Thank you. Over to you, Anya.
Yes, thank you so much for that overview, Solomon. So just wanted to understand, how is an application created using LLM different from any other traditional application?
All right, thank you so much for that question. Now, when we talk about LLM applications and basic or other applications, they are different, right? A few things determine, or a few things makes that difference. One of the things is what I just mentioned. The output of an LLM is probabilistic, not deterministic. And this is because it is powered by a model. So if I'm building an application, what application do I want to think of? If I'm building an application like an application that will scan my image, my textbook, or scan my notes and convert it to a digital copy, the outcome is always fixed, right? The outcome is always fixed because a model is not powering that. But when I come to building a large language model or an application built on an LLM, the output is always probabilistic. Now, the other thing which is very important and which we are also going to see in our class or our demo session today is that the behavior of your LLM application is prompt sensitive. Now, when I'll be building an application today. When we build this application, we are going to give it a prompt. Now, that prompt determines how it behaves. If I change that prompt, the behavior of my application changes also. The behavior of my application changes also. Can you all hear me properly? I can see someone
Yes,
saying I
Solomon,
should speak quite loudly.
yeah, I just saw that message as well. I'm able to hear you perfectly. We are getting a lot of reactions as well. Yes.
Okay.
I think we're good with the audio. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. So what I was saying is that large language model applications are prompt sensitive. So we have what we call system prompts. These prompts help us set the behavior of the application. So if I change the prompt, the behavior of the application would change. Now, this is different from traditional applications. For traditional applications, you do not set the behaviors by prompts. You do not set the behaviors by prompts. You had code the facts there. You had coded, and because you had coded, the outcome would always be the same. There's some logic that determines what the outcome would be. But for this case, the prompt determines that. I hope we all get that.
Okay,
Now,
perfect. Now that, yes, sorry, Solomon, go on.
go ahead, please.
Okay, I'll move on to the next segment then. Now that, like, we clearly understand how LLMs work, we will go a bit further and try to also, get a brief understanding of the framework and the tool that we'll be using today, which is LangChain and Langflow. Solomon, if you can take us through what these are and what are its distinct features, that'd be great.
All right, thank you so much. So I'm going to be using an application for today's demo session called Langflow. But before we talk about Langflow, I want to talk about LangChain, because LangChain is the API upon which Langflow is built. So you can think about LangChain as the cook. So if you go to a restaurant or an eatery, there's someone that serves the food on the table, while there is someone that prepares the meal in the kitchen. So you can think of Langflow as the cook that prepares the meal in the kitchen, and you can think of LangChain as the person that prepares the meal in the kitchen, while you can think of Langflow as the person that serves you the meal. So what is Langflow? It's a framework that helps in building applications that are powered by large language model. It helps you build applications powered by large language model. It's used for framework orchestration. It allows you to connect multiple components together. So when building application, we have large language models that are the brains. We also have tools that are the hands. So large language model allows you to call tools. Now, this LangChain connects all of these components together. It connects large language models, the brains, to different components, different tools that the models can use. It also supports what we call multi-step workflow. You are going to see that in this demo session, where the workflow is built in a step-by-step method. It's basically like a workflow. You do this first. After doing this, you move to the next. After that, you move to the next, following a very reliable workflow, and it reduces boilerplate code. So you don't need to start writing some codes. If you're a software engineer, you know that there are some codes you'd always write. They are not necessarily very, very important, but without them, you can't start building your application. So you need to import this, you need to import that, and so on and so forth. LangChain takes away all of those issues. I hope we all get that.
Yes, Solomon, if you can take us through how Langflow is different from LangChain, if you can explain about Langflow as well.
All right. So one of the ways Langflow differs from LangChain, like I said, LangChain is the brain so let's take an eatery or a restaurant, for an example. Someone in the kitchen makes the food and somebody else serves you the food. Now, any restaurant you go, you do not get to see the chef or the cook. You get to see the waiter, the person that presents the food to you. So Langflow presents the food, like the ecosystem we would be using. One of the thing to know about Langflow is that it's a low-code interface. All you need to do is to drag and drop components. Using Langflow, you do not need to write codes. If you use LangChain, you'd have to write codes yourself. So if you're not a professional that have experience in writing codes in Python and some other programming language, you won't be able to use LangChain. But with Langflow, you do not need to know how to write Python. You don't need to know how to write any programming language. All you need to do is to drag and drop. And that's what we'll be doing together. Drag and drop, connect different components. It's like you're playing the Lego game, the Lego building game for children, where they just need to fix different components together and you have something out there. So that's basically what Langflow is about.
Perfect. I think we're already getting a lot of excitement towards the demo part, and we will be going into that very, very soon. So the last thing that we can discuss is how this LangChain and Langflow work together. So from what I understand, like on one side, LangChain is the framework, and on another side, Langflow is the interface. So how exactly do they come together?
So how they come together is that you get to see just Langflow. You get to see just Langflow. But what powers all of the click, drag, and drop is actually LangChain. So LangChain powers the drag and drop. Yes, Langflow is just like the interface you interact with. But beneath or under the hood, there is LangChain that controls all of those different interface we get to interact with. So think of it like somebody has already written the codes for you. You don't need to write the code. You don't even have to interface with the code. You just need to drag and drop. So LangChain is responsible for the code, while Langflow is the interface you interact with instead of interacting with the code. I hope you get that.
Perfect. Okay, so with that, we are at the most exciting part of the webinar. I will be passing the baton to Solomon to lead the demo. Note to everyone, about halfway through the demo, we will pause for exactly 10 minutes for a short break. We will resume after 10 minutes after once everyone gets back. So I will let you guys know when we are taking that break. I also have another exciting news. We know many of you are looking for GenAI career opportunities. And so we have built an exciting giveaway for all the participants here. It is a curated, well researched reading material on top GenAI career paths and how you can crack them. We will be exclusively sharing this to all the participants on email who stay through the end of the session. So do not miss this out if you want to, enter into the Gen AI field this year. And before I pass on to Solomon, I'm seeing a lot of questions on attendance certificates and recording. So let me reiterate the point that if you need a participation certificate, please stay tuned till the end of the webinar. We will be sharing a poll in which you can give us your full name. So using that, we will be able to generate the certificate and share with you on email. We will also be sharing the recording of the session on email tomorrow to all the participants who stay through the session with us. So, right, great. Solomon, over to you now. You can share the screen and take it ahead. I will let you know when it is time for a break, maybe.
All right, thank you so much. So I'm going to be sharing my screen. Like I said, we would be using Langflow. Now, Langflow has a cloud version, and Langflow also has a desktop version. For this demo session, to ensure that you do not get to make any payments for APIs, we are going to be using the desktop version of Langflow. So I'm going to show you how to get that installed on your laptop. That's the first thing we do. It's a very seamless process. You can just get it installed on your laptop. After that, we are also going to log on to the web version because we would need to connect both of them together. So I'm going to take you on a step-by-step process and we would get started. So I'll be sharing my screen. I'll be sharing my screen, and I want you to let me know if you can see my screen. All right, so please confirm if you can see my screen now. Okay, so before let us download this. While we try downloading this, then I would run some commentary explaining some stuff that are very necessary. So this is the website. Let me increase my screen. So just go click on langflow.org and it will take you to this website. Now, after that, you could just fill in this detail and click on that, and you will start downloading your application. Very straightforward. I have downloaded it before, so I do not need to download it again. But once you click on this, your download would start. So you can select your version, Windows, Mac Intel. I'm currently using Windows, so I'm going to click download. And once I click download, you can see the application is already downloading. So because I have downloaded it before now, I would cancel the application. So I want everybody to go ahead and download the application. Can you see my screen? Okay. All right. So download the application. Once you are done downloading the application, you can just write done on the chat. Done. Once you are done downloading the application, write done. Now, installing the application is a very, very straightforward process. If you've installed an application before, then you would be able to install. Now it's nice. I see a lot of persons have downloaded the application. Now, go ahead and install it. Very, very simple, like I said. All you need to do is find the location where the application is downloaded, and you can go ahead and install the application. So that's the first application I want us to download and install. Please go ahead and do that. How many of us have done with that? All right, install the application. When you are done installing the application, write installed. So I know those that have installed and those that have downloaded. So you are done downloading, write done. You are done installing, write installed. Great. Some persons are already installing it. So this would be the application that would power what we would be building. Now, we also need something else, and I'm going to share the link with you again so you can go ahead and download it. It's called Ollama. Now, what it does is that it gives us access to using free large language models. I told us that large language application, for your company name, you could just use your company, whatsoever you want to use. For the URL, I'm going to copy the URL and paste it on the chat. I can't pin it. For those of you that can't find it, you can see it. Now, this is Ollama. Ollama gives us access to several large language models. We can use it on our local device for free. We can use it on our local device for free. So let me explain this. Now, to build large language models, you need to build applications on large language models. You need what we call pre-trained models. Now, pre-trained models are what power the applications. I want us to be together. Applications like ChatGPT. ChatGPT is an application that is powered by a pre-trained model. So for the application we are building today, we need two different pre-trained models. One of them that does embedding is called an embedder, and the other one for the large language model, the brain of our application. So we need this. We need this for application. In my screen, for those of you that, yeah, so I hope this is much more better now. So all you need to do is type this. Once you type this, download Ollama. If you are using Mac, Linux, Windows, I'm using Windows. So all you need to do is click on this and download it. When you download it, you need to also install it. So you see, I have it installed already on my laptop, downloaded rather, so I won't be downloading it anymore. So I need you to download it to your laptop and install it. So go ahead and do that. When you are done, type install. When you are done, type install. So I'll be waiting for you. Now, once you are done installing, I'll talk about this material I have here. Oh, some persons are still complaining about the size of my screen. I'm so sorry, my screen. Okay, I believe you can see this now. So how many of us have installed? If you've installed, type installed on your chat so I can see how many persons have installed. I want to know how many persons have installed before I move on. All right, a good number of us are following, and I really, really appreciate that. All right, now to download the LangChain, someone asked that I share one more time. To download the LangChain, this is the link. You can, Langflow rather, that's the link. So if you're watching on your phone, you can just follow the entire session. After the webinar, you would get the video and you can follow through the process when you have your laptop. Now for Ollama, to download it, type Ollama on your chats, on your web browser, and click on it. It will take you to this. Click on download, and based on your version, download the application based on your version. So if Ollama is taking time, don't worry, wait for it. We still have some time before we get to use it. So I want you to download the applications first. Download the application. Can you all see my screen? All right, now let's move on. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is to tell you what I would be building today. So what am I building today? What are we building together today? So what we are building together today is a course or a tutor assistant. Because I'm a teacher, I'm an educator, I'm building a solution that is more inclined to my profession. Yeah, and I'm sure you are going to enjoy it. If it's taking time to download, just give it time, it would get downloaded. So I'm building a tutor, an AI tutor assistant that would assist me in teaching this course. So I'm going to be teaching a course titled Fundamentals of LLM Applications and Agentic AI System. That sounds familiar to what we're actually doing today. So I created this material. I'll be sharing this with you. This is a material that contains 10 different modules. Yes, and this material is not just for the application. You could also use it for your personal study to learn more about LLM applications. So these are the different modules captured here, 10 different modules. And I also included session that shows you words and their meaning, words and their meaning. So it's a detailed textbook I created for this class. I created this textbook for this class. My screen, can you all see my screen? Some persons are still saying my screen is not available. Okay, I see a lot of persons can see my screen, so it means my screen is available. All right, so this is the material I would be using for this class. And like I said, I am building an AI that would be a course assistant for teaching this course with me. Now, let me give you a detail or a breakdown of what I want to do. If you go to use large language model, for example, LLM, if you go to use LLM like ChatGPT, Gemini, and so on and so forth, what they do is that they give you a general model. They give you a general knowledge, general knowledge based on the data set they were built upon. But if I am an educator and I want to build an assistant, I won't ask my students to go use ChatGPT. As much as ChatGPT can give them verified solutions, ChatGPT can also hallucinate. Now, this is not just for ChatGPT. This is for solutions built on large language model. They can hallucinate. Hallucination is giving us outputs that are not fact-based. They will just come up with solutions or come up with outputs by themselves. So what we want to do is that we want to build our solution on a knowledge base. We want to build our solution on a knowledge base, and we want to ensure that the AI assistant is using only this knowledge base. We want to ensure that the AI assistant is using only this knowledge base. It's not using any other knowledge for the answer, for guiding my learners. So when my learners interact with the chats or the course assistant, they are sure of the solution or the output they are getting because the course assistant, which is an LLM application, was trained on this data or this knowledge base. So let me stop here and confirm if we all understand this. Do you get what I just said? Can you respond to that? Can respond with a yes. So I'm sure we get that. We all got that rather. Yes, it's like RAG. Thank you. That's RAG. So one of the components of our solution today would be RAG, and I'm going to talk about that. So by the end of this webinar, you would have a fully functional AI. This my application or this my tutor assistant entered generation. It would use RAG to answer questions strictly from this my knowledge base. Strictly from this my knowledge base. It won't generate answer from its own mind because it has a knowledge. So it won't generate answers from its knowledge. It will generate answers only from my knowledge base. Now, this would ensure that there will be no form of hallucination. It will also ensure accurate responses, accurate and grounded responses. So let me confirm if we all got this. Can you all hear me? All right. I hope you got what I said. All right. Now, how many of you have opened your LangChain? If you've opened your LangChain. Okay, let me stop sharing my screen and I will share my screen again. All right, so I'm sharing my screen again. I hope it's now visible. Yes, LangChain. If you are done with LangChain, I want you to open the LangChain application. It can take a while. Yes, this is what it should look like. It can take a while. So you would see something like this. Because I've opened mine before now, so when you open yours, you would see build from templates and so on and so forth. I want you to click on blank flow. Blank flow. Sorry, Langflow, not LangChain. Langflow, Langflow. Just click on blank flow. When you open your LangChain, click on blank flow. So let me show you this. So when you open your own application, this is what it would look like. When you open your application, this is what it would look like. Click on blank flow. All right. So I'm with you. We are going to take it slowly. We have 3 hours, so we are not rushing. When you open your Langflow, you should see something that looks like this. Click on blank flow. Click on blank flow. So if you click on blank flow, it should take you to an interface. Langflow install stock, it's connecting to database. Yes, it can take a while connecting to the database. Just give it time. It would complete the process. Yes, allow it to finish. You would see something rolling like this, trying to complete. Allow the process to complete. When the process gets completed, you should see something that looks like this. When has finished installing and it's open, you see something that looks like this. It may take a time. You can connect to you don't need to connect to anything for now. You don't need to connect to anything for now. Yeah, but if you want to sign in, you can sign in maybe using your Google or using your GitHub. Just sign in using your preferred option. But when you open it, I want you to click on blank flow. How many of us had clicked on blank flow? If you've gotten to this point where you clicked on blank flow, type clicked. Type clicked. All right. So if you've clicked on the blank flow, you should have something that looks like this. You should have something that looks like so if I click on blank flow, I should have something that looks like this. Something that looks like this. All right, so I'm still waiting for you. If yours is connecting to database, that's fine. Let it connect. After it connects to database, click on blank flow and get to this interface. I'm waiting for you. Take your time. Yes. So we get to do it together. So I'm waiting for you. So if it's not working for you, if you're having issues, because we have several learners or several participants rather, I won't be able to respond to individual issues. Yes, but just make sure you are following through. The entire session is recorded. The entire session is recorded. So after the entire session, you can go through it all over by yourself. Yeah, so just try your best to follow. And if you have questions, I would be able to take questions, but I might not be able to respond to individual issues. Yes, but just ensure you follow through this session. So this is Langflow desktop version. Now, you may not need to use the desktop version if you have a paid API service. I'm using the desktop version because I want to assume that many of us would not have paid API services. So I want us to use something that is completely free. Yes, that's why we are using this version. But if you have a paid service, I'm also going to show you how to go about that. But we are going to take it one step at a time. Okay, some people asking me which database is Langflow connecting to at the beginning. It's called Astra DB. Astra DB. That's the next thing I want us to follow. That's the next thing I want us to follow. But let's go step by step so that we do not mix it up. Let's go step by step so we do not mix it up. Now, the database is called Astra database. Now, for us to build our orchestration or our solution, we are going to build something that looks like this. This is what it looks like. Let me make it. All right, so this is what we are going to build. This is what it looks like, but I'm going to build it from the beginning so we can all build together. Yes, I'm going to enlarge my screen. I'm going to enlarge my screen. All right, so excuse me, everyone. Give me 1 minute and I will be with you. All right, guys, I'm with you now. If you are at this point, that's the first step. Now, I want to walk you through some stuff and we'll continue. So we need different architecture to build our solution. The first architecture we need is the AI backend. The first architecture we need is the AI backend or Langflow. That's what we have installed already. Now, the next thing we need is the knowledge base. The knowledge base is what I have here, and I'll be sharing the knowledge base with all of you. The knowledge base is what I have here. We also need the language model. For this class, we'll be using Grock. Grock gives free language model. So we are going to be using Grock. And I wanted to build a front-end UI, but we are going to use the front-end UI within LangChain. So that's what we are going to do. So we are going to build this one at a time. Yeah, Grock is spelled. That's how it's spelled. So now let's continue. So now the next thing we need to do is to set up our Langflow cloud accounts. I'm going to spell Grock again. That's how Grock is spelled. So the next thing we need to do is to set up our Langflow accounts, the cloud accounts. If it's taking a lot of time to connect, just allow it to connect. Yes, it may be because of your laptop. Yeah, but it actually takes a while to connect. It took a while to connect on my own laptop. I thought it wasn't going to connect, but it eventually did. So let it connect. It definitely will connect. Now, to connect to Langflow Cloud, Langflow Cloud, we need this link. I'm going to copy it and paste on the chat. I'm going to copy it and paste on the chat. Please, no comments for now. So I have shared the link. This is the link. Let me make it big so you can copy it. This is the link. This is the link. This is the link. I think it's big enough for everyone to see. It's big enough for everyone to see. That's the link. So click on it. Click on it. I'm still waiting on everyone. All right, so once you are done with that, click on this. So allow it to run. So I already have all of this on my own laptop. So I'm going to walk you through the process one step at a time. I'm going to walk you through the process one step at a time. Oh, I have moved past that. I'm going to share the link again on the chat. I'll share the link again on the chat. Yes, you need to log in. You can log in using your email. Yeah, you can log in using your Gmail. You can create a login detail for yourself. Just log in. So let me show you what it would look like. Yes, it will show you something like this. You obviously need to sign in. So you can sign in using Google Gmail. You can sign in using Google Gmail. So this is for demonstration purpose. Yes, it would ask you to choose a database. Let's just follow it one step at a time. All right, so it should take you up to this point. You can select whatever you want to select at this point. Just select whatsoever you want to select at this point. So you can select you don't code if you don't want to write codes. So continue to Astra. Now you can follow me step by step. Now, when you come to this point, before you create database, don't create a database yet. Just hold on, we get to that. So if you click on this, you see Astra DB, and you would also see Langflow. So click on Langflow. That is the Langflow interface, the web or the cloud-based Langflow interface. It's taking us there now. I hope we're all following. I hope we are all following. You should see the LangChain option. Everybody should see the LangChain option. Everybody should see the LangChain option. If I show you this, when you open it, you see something that looks like this application. Click on it. You see three options here: Astra DB, Langflow. Sorry, not LangChain, Langflow and streaming. So click on Langflow. It will take you to this. It will finalizing Langflow configuration, allow it to do its own stuff. Langflow. My apologies. Langflow, not LangChain. Langflow. Someone asked for the link. I'm sharing the link again. Langflow, not LangChain. My mouth is full with LangChain. Pardon me for that. Langflow. So it will take some time. Allow it take its time. Okay, so what I said earlier was that when you open your interface, do not create the database yet. You can leave the database and just move on to the Langflow interface. That's what I want you to see first. That's what I want you to see first. So I'm waiting for us. So I'm sending the knowledge base to the host, and the knowledge base will be sent to your email addresses so you can use it. But let's allow this to finish configuring. It's taking time. It will take time also on your own. Now, I told you to not create a database for now. That's what I told you. Do not create a database for now. Just click on the Langflow option. I told you when you open your LangChain or your Langflow rather, click on this application and just click on Langflow. You weren't supposed to create any database now. You weren't supposed to create any database. I just want you to see the interface. So it's coming up. I want to wait for it so you can see what the interface looks like. We are going step by step. I'm going step by step. All right. Data stack is the cloud that hosts Langflow. The data stack hosts Langflow. It also hosts the Astra DB I talked about. That's the purpose. So it hosts this, and it hosts this. For this class, we are interested in this, and we are interested in this. Those are the two things we are interested in. And data stack is what hosts them on the cloud. So that's, yeah. I hope I answered your question. So this is taking time. We just wait for it so you can see what the interface looks like. Now, basically, it will give you exactly the same interface like we have here. It would give you the same interface like we have here. So while we wait for this to load, I want us to do something else. While we wait for this to load, I want us to do something else. But why do we need to host in cloud if we are using the desktop version? Now, why we are hosting in cloud is that I want now two reasons. Number one, for those that can't download it into their desktop and they want to follow using the cloud version, if you must follow using the cloud version, you need a paid API like Open API. You need a key and you need a paid API for that. Now, for the desktop version, we are not going to be using a paid API. We are going to be using a free version. So that's why I'm asking you to do that. Secondly, we are also going to connect the Astra DB to our local Langflow application. We'll be connecting the Astra DB to our local LangChain Langflow application. So those are the two reasons why we are loading the cloud. I hope you all get that. I'm not seeing Langflow set up in Astra. Click on applications. Once you click on applications, you would see Langflow. Click on it. Do you understand? So while we wait for this to configure, we are going to do two other things. The first thing we are going to do is to set up our Grock API key. We are going to set up our Grock API key while we wait for this to configure. Now, to set up your Grock API key, meanwhile, you need to keep your API key to yourself. It is secret. So I'm going to copy the link and paste it. So take a look at this. I'll make it big. Yeah, so that's the link you need. This is to set up our Grock API key. Don't forget, the first thing we did was to download and install Langflow desktop. The other thing we did was to download and install Ollama desktop. The third thing we did was to sign up or sign into the LangChain or Langflow cloud platform, where we also have Astra DB. Now, what we are doing now, we are setting up our API key for Grock. Grock will be the brain for our model. Grock will be the brain for our model. So type this into your laptop or your browser rather, and click on it. I hope everyone can see it. Type it into your browser and click on it. I've also shared the link. So I'm going to click on it and would follow it step by step. Please follow my process, follow it step by step. Now, when you click on it, if you do not have an account, you need to create an account. Yeah, so continue with Google. So I'll click continue with Google. Some people have gone ahead of me. Now, if you have an LLM API key, if you have an LLM API key like OpenAI, then you don't need Ollama and Grock. You don't need Ollama and Grock. You can use API for both of them. But if you don't have a paid API key, if you have a paid API key, you can even use the cloud version without using the other version. But if you don't have a paid API key, then you need to follow my process step by step. So this Grock will give us an API key. Grock gives us free access to their large language models. Yeah, free. I don't think it's not completely free, but it gives us what we call free trial. So you could use it for some things like what we are doing without needing to pay for the credit. So let's get in and see what it looks like. So when you click on this, login, let me check this. This is taking so long. Why is it taking so long? All right, but let's keep on going. We'll get to it later. Don't forget all of the process we are following. We first downloaded and installed Langflow. After that, we downloaded and installed Ollama. All right, so I'm in now. I'm in. So I'm going to click on API keys. Click on API keys. So when I click on API keys, I'll click on create API. Let me increase this. So once you get in, click on API keys. API keys. Yes, I'm going to walk you through how it fits together. Thank you so much. And I'm also going to give you a summary when we get to a point. So let's do this. I think those are two wonderful suggestions. I'll give you a summary and I would give you a diagram. So when you click on this, click on create API key. So you can just give it a name. Give it a name. So you can call it webinar or LLM application, whatever name you want to call it is up to you. So I called my LLM app. If you want it to expire after some time, you can set an expiration date or you can just click this. Now, after that, it has to verify. Now, once it does that, click on submit. Click on submit. Now, it gives you an API key. Copy this key and paste it somewhere very safe. Copy that key and paste it somewhere very safe. We are going to be needing it in the process of our class. We'll be needing it in the process of our class. I'm going to show you where all of this fits in. So what we are doing now, we are doing setup. We are setting up everything we need. Copy your API key, paste it somewhere safe. We need it to continue our process. So this is taking a very long time. I'm still going to let it for a while, but while I let it, I want to do something else. I want to do something else. Now, let me give you a rundown of what we've done. I'm going to write on my screen. The first thing we did was that we downloaded Langflow. That's the first thing we did. We downloaded and installed Langflow. Now, after that, we downloaded and installed Ollama. After this, we signed in to Langflow Cloud. And in this Langflow Cloud, we also have Astra DB. It's a database. We need the database for our workflow, and I'm going to tell us what that is. Now, after that, we signed in to Grock or Grock, whatever way you pronounce it, to get our API key. To get our API key. Now, these are the things we've done so far. Any question? Are you up to this point with me? If you have a paid API key, you don't need to do this. If you have a paid API key, you don't need to do this. If you don't have a paid API key, please, you have to do this. So what does an API key do? I'm going to explain all of this stuff to you. And I also have a material. I'll share that material with you after this session. I've explained what Langflow is all about. Langflow is the visual programming environment for AI. Instead of writing code, you just work on a canvas. So Langflow is like your digital whiteboard where you drag and drop components. These components are building blocks. You connect them together using lines to define a data flow. So that's what Langflow does. You don't need any code. You can install it. It also runs in a cloud. It allows us connect all of the components we need together. That's Langflow. Now, what is Grock? Grock gives you access to large language models. It gives you access to large language models. Don't forget, what are we building? We are building an LLM application. And I told us earlier that to build an LLM application, we need a large language model. The large language model is the brain of our solution. It understands what we want to do. So for us to access that model, we need Grock. Now, why do we need the API key? The API key is like your unique password that identifies when you are calling an AI service. So it links you to the model. The API key links you to the model. So every time we run a code or we ask a question, the API key links us to the model. Without the API key, there will be no connection to the model we want to use. And that model we want to use, Grock gives us access to the model by an API key. Do we all understand that? All right, now let me explain this. An API key is different from it. Now, I have a paid ChatGPT account, but I don't have a paid ChatGPT API. The API is different from the ChatGPT interface. ChatGPT interface is a solution, right? What we are trying to build today is like a miniature version of ChatGPT, a very small and specified version of ChatGPT or cloud. So if you have a paid cloud account or you have a paid cloud ChatGPT account, it is not equal to having an API. Take note of that. ChatGPT gives you access to the cloud AI to chat, but API gives you access to the model, the large language model, to build a solution. So if you have a paid ChatGPT, all you can do is to access ChatGPT, the model, via that ChatGPT interface. But the API key allows you access the model or the large language model to build an application like what we are doing. So if you have that, if you have the ChatGPT platform or the cloud platform, you also need an API key. I hope we all get that. All right, so if you have API access, that's fine. So we'll see if we can use that. Yeah, we'll see if we can use that. So that's all of this now. Now, the next thing we are going to do is to set up our platform, is to set up the Ollama so that the Ollama can be running. How do you access the API? We've gone past that. For you to access the API, log on to this. I'll copy the link and share it on the chat. Please, I want us to follow me step by step. If you take me back, we've accessed the API like 5 minutes ago. If you take me back, we will not be able to complete our session. So click on this, access the API. After you log on to that link I shared, click on API keys, then click on create API. Once you click on create API, just give it any name you want to give it. Give it a name like this. Give it a name. After that, an icon will appear here for submit. Click on submit. It will give you a key. Then copy your key, paste it in a very secured environment. So now we are done with all of this thing. All right. Now let's move on. So the next thing I want to do is to set up the Ollama. Now to set up Ollama, we need to use command prompts. We need to use command prompts. So I'm going to click command prompts. And I have this. Now you need to make sure that you have Ollama downloaded and installed on your laptop already. You need to make sure you have Ollama installed on your laptop already. If it's not installed on your laptop, you can't actually do the next steps we'll be doing now. So everybody, this is where we are now. We want to make sure Ollama is up and running. Everybody click on command prompts, open a command prompt like this. We want to make sure Ollama is up and running. Meanwhile, I use what's it called? Microsoft. And I understand that the command prompt might be slightly different from yours. So you need to take note of that. So if you have Ollama installed, we are going to just copy and paste this. Sorry, that's not what I want. So I'm making it big enough so that you can actually follow. Right. Now, if you have Ollama on your laptop downloaded and installed, open your command prompts. Command prompts. Command prompts. Once you open command prompts, you have this. After that, type this into your command prompt and hit enter. Type it into your command prompt and hit enter. If you've actually downloaded and installed, you should see the version of Ollama on your laptop. You should see the version of Ollama on your laptop. All right, so some people have more recent versions than myself. That's fine. Now, this means you have Ollama installed on your laptop. And this means that we can now download the application we need. So give me a minute. So the next thing to do now is to download. We are going to download a very basic one that would not require a lot of data sets. It wouldn't require a lot of data sets. So, but let me make sure we are all at this point. Let me make sure we are all at this point. All right, thank you. Now, the next thing we are going to do is to do this. So I'm going to reduce this a little, or let me take this out so you can see it. I'm going to also paste that on the chart. Somebody is already asking me, where do we use the API key? Forget about the API key for now. Just make sure your API key is saved somewhere. That's what I said. Save your API key in a very safe place. So save your API key in a very safe place. I'm going to tell you what to use the API key for, but for now, all I need you to do is save it in a very safe place. All right, so click on this. Now, if you click on this, it would download what we call an embedder. It's called an embedder or an embedding model. So I'm going to explain what an embedding model is all about. So click on it and hit enter. I have downloaded it before, so I'm not hitting mine enter. So click on it and hit your own enter. Let me see what you, and let me know. If you are done, let me know. So now if you are done, the next thing to do is to click on this. Okay, before I move on, let me explain what an embedding model is. Now remember, we are working with text, right? We are all working with text data. Large language models work with text. But one of the things I want you to know is that algorithms, neural network, transformers, all of these are the architectures, the way we build the model. Transformers, neural networks, they do not understand text. What they understand are numbers. They don't understand text. What they understand are numbers. So what this embedding does is that this embedding would convert our text to numerical representation that the model can understand. Remember, we downloaded Grock. So I'm explaining. Grock will give us access to the brain. Grock will give us access to the brain. This brain is a large language model. This brain is a large language model. This brain was built on data set. The data set was text. However, neural networks, transformers, language models, they don't understand text. What they understand are numbers. So we do not give text directly to the models. What we give to them are numbers. But how do we convert our numbers to our text to numbers? The way we convert them is by doing embedding, but we don't need to do that manually. We have models that can do the conversion for us. It's going to convert it in such a way that the model will still understand the syntax, the context, the relationship, and everything that happens within the text. So this embedding model will convert our text to numbers. That's why we need this. That's why we need this. It converts our text to numbers. So let me know if you are done downloading it. After that, we move on. I hope we're all following, guys. All right, so let's do all of this. All right, so I'm going to, once you are done downloading the model, I need you to do this. I need you to do this. I'm going to clear this out. Then I'll say Ollama list. Ollama list. So if I click Ollama list, let me reduce it a little so you can see my screen. So yeah, so I think I've reduced it a little. So if I click Ollama list, you see that I have two different things. I have this and I have this. What I asked you to pull was this. I didn't ask you to pull this. So you should see just this on yours. You should see just this. So confirm if you saw that. You don't need to download Grock. You don't need to download Grock. You just need the API key. You just need the API key. We are downloading this to our laptop so that we don't need an API key for that. So we don't need to use an API key for that. All right. So if you have that, then you are fine. If you have that, then you are fine. So the next thing we want to do is to check if our Ollama is running. So we are going to copy and paste this. Let me share it, increase it. I'm going to share it on the chat. So copy and paste that. Oh, somebody has several models. This is nice. I can see DeepSeek. Yeah, those models are very, very big, 29 gig. So that's nice. So you now have the embedder. That's very correct. Well done and done. Now, if you do this, you should see Ollama running. If you do this, you should see Ollama running. So if you see Ollama running, I want you to type running. If you see Ollama running, I want you to type running on your chat. If your Ollama is running, I want you to type running on your chat. All right, so we have several persons that has their Ollama running. So before we go on break, I'm going to give you an explanation so we can tie up several things together. I want to give you an explanation so we can tie up several things together. Now we are good. We are good. We'll come back, then I would explain several things. So now let me explain again. I had explained that we need Grock to get API key. Okay, let me write. I like writing. It makes it very easy for me. So we are building an AI tutor. Okay, permit me to do this. Reduce this, then write on this. We are building an AI tutor assistant. We are building an AI tutor assistant. For us to build this assistant, we need the following. The first thing we need is Langflow. We need Langflow. Langflow gives us the interface where we connect all of the components together. So we need Langflow, and we've downloaded Langflow. Now, the next thing we need is that we need a knowledge base. We need a knowledge base. The knowledge base is this material I showed you. This is the knowledge base, and I've shared it with the host. The host will share it with every one of you, but that's the knowledge base. So that's settled. Now, the other thing we need is that because we are building a large language application, we need a large language model. We need a large language model. And Grock gives us access to this. Grock gives us access to this. So we have this already. Now, after that, I told us that large language models do not understand text. Our knowledge base is a text, and we need to convert that knowledge base from a text to a number. Now, that number, not just one single number anyway, the number must represent the text adequately. So for us to do that, we need another large language model that is called an embedder or an embedding model. We need an embedding model, and Ollama gave us that. Ollama gave us that. So we have almost all we need. The other thing we need is a database. That's what we are going to create now. A database. Data. So we need a database, and we are going to use Astra database for that. Astra database for that. So please, guys, confirm if you're all with me. Now, the purpose of Astra database is basically a database. What is a database? A database is where we store data. A database is where we store data. So because we are going to be working with this data, now this is a data, right? It's a textbook. It is a data. We are going to be working with this data. We need to store it somewhere. We need to store it somewhere. Where we store it is the database. Before we store it into the database, we are going to do a pre-processing on it. I would explain that, but not now. But where we are going to store this data is in the database. It's from the database our large language model will be able to access it. Yeah, so that's what the database is used for. I hope we all get that now. So Astra base is where, yes, exactly. Astra base is where we will store the data set, and Astra base is where we will store the numerical representation. All right, so now let's set up our database. So this is still running. Somebody advised that I refresh it. Let me refresh it. Now, somebody's asking, what is the knowledge base? The knowledge base is a textbook. This knowledge base is a textbook. It can be any textbook, right? I created this textbook for this class. Now, the textbook is a textbook on foundations of large language LLM applications and agentic AI system. So we want to build an AI course assistant that will be able to explain concepts to learners based on this textbook. So the solution we are going to be building, it will not be able to explain concepts from other materials. It will only be able to explain concepts that are within this material. If you ask it something outside of this material, it won't be able to explain that for you. It would only be able to explain it in this material. Where can you find it? The host will send it to your email. I've sent it to the host. The host will send it to your email. I hope you get that. All right. So this is still running. So I think we should, I wanted us to finish with database before we take a break. But let's take. So let's continue. Let's not take a break yet. We'll take a break when it's an hour.
Hi everyone. So let's take a 10-minute break and return exactly in 10 minutes. We will be resuming the session in 10 minutes. So yes,
All right,
please go
that's
have a sip of water, do some stretches and be back in the next 10 minutes. Okay, guys, I think we will have people joining back from the break. Just drop an emoji or let us know in the chat if you're back from the break. And while we wait for all of our participants to join back, let's quickly talk about the career impact of being LLM and GenAI fluent. So, what changes when you can build LLM apps like you've learned in the session? So using ChatGPT is like very, very common, but designing systems that harness LLMs requires a unique set of skills. And this skill set moves you from being just a LLM user to an LLM builder. Imagine the possibilities when you can create internal tools, automation systems, AI assistants, all of this tailored to your needs. And you gain the ability to explain why certain outputs fail and how context impacts reasoning. So you'll know how to improve system reliability, and even terms like chaining, memory, guardrails become part of your daily vocabulary easily, and they can become concepts you can easily apply. And yes, remember, having LLM skills is not just about being technically strong. It also expands your ability to innovate in meaningful ways and give form to your ideas, and that's something quite powerful, isn't it? So, in today's job market, the reality is quite clear. While the skills you will be acquiring from this workshop, are undoubtedly very, very valuable, there are various other core GenAI skills you should continue to learn and stay updated on. These include agentic frameworks, AI agents, LLM fine tuning, multi-model applications, and many others that employers are increasingly seeking. So, how do you actually go about acquiring those skills? How do you keep yourself more updated and more employable? Well, we have a structured learning path to help you do just that. Simplilearn's applied generative AI specialization program is in association with the most esteemed Michigan engineering professional education. And this is a great learning opportunity for you. So, from prompt engineering, agentic frameworks to RAG and GenAI governance, the program gives you more than 15 distinct skills that you will definitely that will definitely make your knowledge, your ability, and your portfolio also stronger. The program will also give you an opportunity to learn and work on all the latest, trendiest, coolest tools, AI tools in the market currently. So what you're learning today about LangChain, Langflow, and GenAI application development is just like a very small teaser version of what you could get from the program. So we have more details coming on that soon at the end of the demo. But if you are interested to know more right away, I am sharing the link of the program on the chat box for you to explore more. And if anyone is interested in you know uh, signing up for the program, please let us know in the poll. We would be able to get in touch with you to help you understand the way forward. Right. Solomon, with you can. I think we have a lot of other participants who've joined back. So I will stop the screen share and you can begin.
All right, thank you. Welcome back, everyone. Please confirm if you are still with me. All right. So I have shared the knowledge base that we would be using. Make sure you do well to download the knowledge base. We'll be using it for our solution. Now I'll be sharing my screen so we can get started on this. So I want you to follow me carefully. Now, the next thing we want to do is that we want to create a database. I told us we need a database for our solution. The database is what houses our data. That's our knowledge base. Now, let me explain some concepts before we move on. For our database, we'll be using Astra database. I'm sure you are familiar with this. I am on my Langflow interface, my Langflow cloud interface. On the Langflow cloud interface, on the Langflow cloud interface, click on this applications, then click on Astra DB. click on our application and click on Astra DB. So it will take you to applications. Now, when you come to applications, we are going to create a database. So Astra DB allows us to create free database. If you want to pay, you can actually pay. Can I attach one more database into our model? Let's keep it with this database for now. Let's keep it with this database for now. Let's keep it with this database. So to create a database, Astra DB allows us use their free database. So when I create a database, they give you free, I think $25 credit per month, $25 credit per month. So all you need to do is to create database. Click on create database. Now make sure you select serverless vector. Make sure you select serverless vector. You can see that all-in-one database solution optimized for vector and generative AI workloads. That's the kind of work we are currently doing. That's the kind of work we are currently doing. Please, are you still with me? Are you still with me? We have moved past the point of downloading the knowledge base. I have shared the knowledge base several times. I have shared the knowledge base several times, and I'm sharing it again. Make sure you download the knowledge base so that we don't keep going back to the knowledge base. Download the knowledge base. I'm sorry, I should have shared it maybe before the webinar. Yeah, but do well to download the knowledge base so we can go ahead and create the database. We need our database to get started. So I've shared the knowledge base again. So download the knowledge base. Now, some people ask me to go back. So let me come back here. If you're on your Langflow site, if you're on the Langflow interface, if you're on the Langflow interface on the web, if you're on the Langflow interface on the web, what I want you to do is to click on this. Remember, we clicked on this to get to Langflow initially. So click on this and come to Astra DB. I'm already on Astra DB. Click on it, meet me up at Astra DB. I'll be waiting for you at Astra DB. Okay, guys, everybody just hold on. How many of you have downloaded the knowledge base? Just say yes if you've downloaded the knowledge base. How many of you have downloaded the knowledge base? Just say yes. All right. A good number of us have done that. The knowledge base is the PDF. I've shared it multiple times. So please look up the chat and download the knowledge base. I'll be sharing it for this final time. And after this time, I won't share the knowledge base again. So the knowledge base is dropping. And once it drops, make sure you download it. So we are all paused. Let's all wait. Now the knowledge base has dropped. Download it now. Everyone, download the knowledge base now. If you've not downloaded it, download the knowledge base now so we can move on. I just shared the knowledge base and I can see someone saying I didn't receive. All right, guys, we don't have all of the time. But how did the others download it when I'm sharing it on the platform? I'm sharing it on the platform. So don't share anything, don't say anything. Once I share it, I'm currently sharing it now. Look at the chat, look at the chat, look at the chat. If you can't download it now, just follow us through, then you would get it by tomorrow. You can continue yourself. So I've shared it, it has downloaded. Now let's move on. Now everybody come to the database, Astra database, click on create database. When you click on create database, this is already selected. Don't unselect it. It is already selected. Don't unselect it. It's already selected. Don't unselect it. Create a database name. You can give it anything you want to call it. LLM application, whatever you want to call it, it's fine. Now, there are different database providers. Different database providers. all of them give free access. You can use any one of your choice. If you click on it, so initially it was on this, select the region. This is the only free region. Other regions are paid. So just select it regardless of the region, you'll be fine. So I'm using Google, select this, and I click on create database. Now, once I click on create database, it's come to this point. It takes me to this point, and you can see pending. Database initialization takes a few minutes. Now, come down to number one, we have set environment setting. Leave that the way it is. Number two, generate an application token. Give it a name. You can call it LLM token, whatever name you want to call it. Just give it a name, or LLM application token. Give it a name. After giving it a name, click on generate. It's going to generate a token. We need this token, very, very important. Copy your token and save it somewhere safe for yourself. It's your database token. Copy your token, keep it somewhere safe for yourself. How many of you have copied token? If you have copied token, say copied. If you've copied token, type copied. Copied token, type copied. All right, so most of us have copied. Now we've copied our token. We are almost set to build. We're almost set to build. I want us to finish up with this so we don't come back here anymore. I want us to finish up with this so we don't come back. So the last thing we are going to do here is to create what is called a collection. A collection. We are going to create it within the database. Copy the token to anywhere you want to paste it. Now, if you are getting an error, it means that you didn't select what I selected. Go to the region, check for the region, select US. I think US is the only free region, and create your database. Now you can't find database on Langflow. Click on application, come to Astra DB. When you get to Astra DB, you will see create database. Select US. Don't select your location. Select US. Leave environment variable the way it is. Come to generate token. Give it a name. It's going to generate a token. Click on generate token after giving it a name. Then copy it. Leave environment. Leave this. Leave this. Yes, if you came late, you definitely get the video. So copy your set environment variables also. Just copy it and paste it anywhere safe for you. Just copy it and paste it anywhere safe for you. So we are waiting for this to finish initializing. Now, because I do not want to take all of the time, I'm going to move on to a place where it has finished initializing. Now, once it finished initializing, you will see something that looks like this. How many of you, if it has finished initializing at your end, can you just type finish? That's finished initializing at your end. That's finished initializing at your end. You should see something that looks like this. Okay, I think it's still initializing on most of our end. So I'm just going to wait a little more. I'll wait a little more. So let me know once it's finished on most person's end, then we'll move on to the next thing. We need to finish up so we don't take all of the time. What do you do after copying the token? Just wait for it to finish initializing. Paste your token somewhere. Just copy the set variables. Don't export anything. All right. Somebody just came back from the break session. Because this is still initializing, so I'm going to do that for you. Now, when you don't need to do anything for it to start initializing. Just click on this. If you are just coming, click on your applications. This is your app, the cloud version of Langflow. Click on application, click on Astra DB, click on Astra DB. After clicking on Astra DB, you will see create. This is taking me back. Click on Astra DB, you will see create database. Click on database also. When you click on database, give your database any name you want and select Google. For the provider, select Google. Then for the region, select USA and click OK. So once you do that, it will take you to this page. Number one is set variables. Number two, generate token application token. Give your token a description and copy your token. Sorry, give your token a description, click on generate token, and eventually copy. After you are done, wait for it to finish initializing. So it's still initializing. These are the variables here. Step one, set environment variables. All right, so you can see that after it's done initializing, it now has an environment variable. So I need you to copy your environment variable. Wait for it to finish initializing before copying your environment variable. Wait for it to finish initializing. So this is taking a long time. I'm going to move on because we don't have time. Now, once it's finished initializing, once it's done initializing, you should see active here. Active. If you see active, can you type active? You see active. Yes, this is also done in initializing. Yes, it's also done initializing. So what's the next thing to do? What's the next thing to do? The next thing we need to do is to create what is called a connection. The next thing we need to do is to create what is called a connection. So click on this. So we are still on the same place. Initially, we are at overview, but now we are clicking on Data Explorer. We are still on the same place. After it's done initializing, we click on Data Explorer. When we click on Data Explorer, we would have this. All right, give me 1 minute. If you copied your token, just paste your token somewhere. We'll come back to it. Now, we need to create a data explorer. But before we create a data explorer, give me a minute. Before we create a data explorer, before we create a collection, let's come back to our if you didn't copy the environment variable, don't worry about that. If you didn't copy the environment variable, don't worry about that. Once we are done creating our database, let's come back to our Langflow desktop. Langflow desktop. Create your database, come back to your Langflow desktop. Are we on our Langflow desktop now? Create your database, come back to your Langflow desktop. Create your database, come back to your Langflow desktop. Now, on the Langflow desktop, we are going to build a connection, something that looks like this. Sorry, this. So I'm going to explain it to you, then we are going to create it ourselves. Now, we have two parts of this connection. So let me increase my screen. The first part of this connection, now it can go bigger than this, so please just bear with me. The first part of this connection is what does what we call RAG. The first part of the connection does what we call our RAG system. So what is a RAG system and how does it work? The RAG system is the most important concept in this entire webinar. Yeah, everything we are going to be building today is built around the RAG system. So take note of that. Now, one of the things I told us about initially is that large language models have the ability to hallucinate. Now, they hallucinate when they do not have information about a particular question. So they can generate information for you, and that information can be very, very confident and fluent, but most times it may not be factually correct, or some other times it may be completely made up by the large language model. Now, this happens because they are trained to predict the most possible next words. Now, what we want to do is that we do not want a solution that hallucinates. That's why I sent us the knowledge base. We want a solution that answers questions only based on our knowledge base. Anything other than our knowledge base, do not answer that question. For that to work, we need this RAG interface. This is what ensures that the large language model or our solution does not hallucinate. Do we get that? Do we get that? Can I see responses on the chat? All right, now for us to build the RAG solution, we need different components, 4 different components. To build the RAG solution, we need 4 different components. One of the components we need for the RAG solution. Now, this is on the Langflow. But let me explain how the RAG system works. Okay, let me explain the components, then I will explain how the RAG system works. Now, to build this, we need 4 different components from the Langflow interface. The first component is what allows us import our file. Now, that knowledge base I sent you, the first component allows us read in our knowledge base. It's called read file. Just follow me. Let me explain them. The first component is called read file. It allows us read in our knowledge base. You can see load and returns the concept from the uploaded files. If our model must be able to interact with our knowledge base, we need to be able to load it in. So this does that loading in for us. Now, when our knowledge base, when this loads it in, the next we need is what we call split text. Split text. This is our knowledge base. This PDF file is our knowledge base. This first component reads in our knowledge base. You can see I have it here. It reads in our knowledge base. The second component splits the knowledge base into smaller chunks. It splits the knowledge base into smaller chunks. These chunks are like smaller pieces of the large document. It's just like you want to eat a meal. You don't just put the entire meal into your mouth. You have to eat the meal by chunks, little chunks, until you are done eating the meal. Yes, that's how we feed our large language model. The way we are going to feed the text, remember I told us that the text would have to be converted to numerical representations. We don't give the embedder that converts it to number. We don't give it the entire PDF. We chunk it. That's what this does for us. And that's why we have a chunk size. The chunk size is the maximum number of characters in each chunk. The chunk size is the maximum number of characters in each chunk. Then we have what is called chunk overlap. The chunk overlap is the number of characters that is shared between consecutive chunks. So if I have chunk 1 and I have chunk 2, 700 size, 700 size. So we have 700 chunks here, 700 chunks here. But these chunks are overlapping. So 100 of these chunks are present here. 100 of these chunks are also present here. This is to ensure that contexts are not lost between chunks. So it's to ensure that contexts are not lost between chunks. So the model understands that this and this are connected because there is an overlap between them. That's what this does. So this splits the text from a whole PDF to chunks. Let me show you what it looks like before I move on to the next thing. If I click on this, okay, I need to run this. Okay, I'll show you when we run it. Let me not do that now. Now, the next thing we have here is I hope you understand. I think I've explained the chunk size. I think every one of us should get that now. Now, the next thing we have is the Astra DB. This is the database. So when we chunk this, it is ingested into the database and the embedding now does the work on it. So the embedding converts it to numerical representation. So this is the RAG interface. So let me explain how the RAG works. The first stage of the RAG is that the PDF is broken down into smaller chunks, like I said. Now, each chunk is converted into vector. A vector is basically a list of numbers that represents the meaning of that text. I'm sure you know what does that vectoring. This embedding is what converts the chunk to vectors. Now, all of the vectors are now stored in the Astra database. All of the vectors are now stored in the Astra database. That's the first thing that happens. Now, what now happens next is that anytime a user asks a question, the question is converted into a vector. So if I ask, what is RAG? Before the model answers that question, it is converted into a vector. Now, that vector would now be used to search this entire database that contains all of the vectors from our knowledge base. Now, when it searches that, we are going to set it in the way that it will return the most relevant chunks. It's just like you are searching something on the web. Anytime you search for something on the web, it returns you the most relevant outputs listed from like the top to the bottom. You can have several pages, but we are going to set it in such a way that it returns just a few of them. Now, it is that returned output that would now be used for answering the question. We'll get into that in detail. So I hope we are all together. I hope we all got that. If you got that, you can say yes on your chat. You got that, you can say yes on your chat. All right, so now we are going to build this first component first. After building the first component, we'll come back to build the second component. I will explain the second component, then we'll come back to build it. So let's build the first component first. So I'm using this, I'm building it from the scratch. I am naming it Learn LLM Foundations. You can call it any name. AI tutor, just call it any name. Now, don't forget, we needed 4 different components. So I'm going to bring the 4 different components one at a time. I'm going to bring in the 4 different components one at a time. Now, if you look at this left-hand side, we have components. That's what we need. So the first thing is to come to files. Under files, you can either click on this to drag and drop, or you can just click on this. Either of them is fine. So click on it so you can have this. Under file, click on it so you can have this. Have you all done that? If you've done that, type yes. Very basic. Now we need to move fast. We need to complete everything before our time elapses. Now, after that, you see select files. Select files. Click on select files. Now I have my file already. For your case, you will not have your file. So you can click on this. You have to bring in your file by yourself. Okay, let me delete this. So I'll bring in my file by myself. So select file. Now go to the location where you have your file. This is where I have my file. Just load it in the way you load in files. After that, you have to check it. If you don't check it, it won't be selected. So check it and click on select file. So once you are done with that, you have done the first part. You've completed the first component. If you are done with this, type done. If you are done with this, type done. All right, now we are going to bring in the next component. The next component is the component that splits our file. Now you can search for the name. Just in case you don't know where it is, you can search for it. That's an easier way to get it in. You can search for it. So when you search for it, you see split text. If you don't want to search for it, you can find it under processing. So it's under split text. So I click on this. I have my split text. So I have 2 components. Now, we are going to change this to 700. So the chunk size will be 700 and this will be 100. So I'm going to connect this. So what does this connection mean? It means that this will read in the file. After it reads in the file, it will send the file to the split file. It will send it as a complete PDF to the split file, or split text rather. This split text is now what splits it into chunks. So each chunk we have 700 size. If you've done this and connected it, click done. Yes, please bring in the file. Bring in the file. Yeah, there are specific reasons why we bring in. There are specific reasons to the choice of the chunk size. Some of the reasons is how fast you want the chunking process to be. If you have a very big document, you can increase the chunk size to make the chunking very fast. That's number 1. Number 2, different models or embedders, they have their chunk size kind of, right? So that can also affect. Also your, I think those are 2 key reasons. If I think of any other one, I will let you know. Now, the next thing we want to do is to bring in our Astra database. We can't learn this through coding in this class now. You need to first learn how to code before you can learn this through coding. Now, we want to bring in our Astra database. So type on Astra, type Astra, and click this to bring in our database. So I'm going to close this so that we have some space. So type Astra, close this, bring in your database. Now we are going to connect this to this. We are going to connect this to this. And now we need to connect this to our, we need to connect it to our database. Remember, we created a database. I think I created that using this. So we need to connect it to our database, this database that we created. Now, I told you to create a token, right? I told you to create a token and save your token, the database token. We need that database token. So copy your database token, come to this point, click on controls, click on controls. When you click on controls, you would have a back end that looks like this. You would have a back end that looks like this. You see Astra DB application token. Paste your token here. Paste your token there. So after you paste your token there, how many of you have pasted your token? So paste your token and close it. Now, when you paste your token there and close it, you realize that we now have database. We didn't have it before, but we now have database. So select the database. You will see the database you created. This is the database I created. So I'm going to select it. So select yours. Yes, copy the Astra token starting from the S. Select your database. Click on control again. Now, when you select your database, if you give it some time, it will update and have something that looks like this. It will update and have something that looks like this. Now, this is where collection comes in. We are going to create a new collection. Yes, select Astra. Select Astra. Somebody said, I'm trying to find the split text. Type split text, you'll find it. Type split text, you'll find it. And for when copying your application token, copy Astra. Somebody said, I can't find the token. If you didn't find the token, then it's not my fault. I told everybody, copy your token and paste it somewhere. Copy your token and paste it somewhere. So if you've pasted your token and you now have exactly what I have on my screen, type yes on the chat. If you've copied and pasted your token and you have exactly what I have on your screen, you've selected your database, type yes. All right, that's fine. If you are having issues, no problem, because this is a timed session. We won't be able to go back. We're almost out of time. So we just continue. You would have the recorded session and you can go back to watch the recorded session. Now, everybody come to collections and click create collection. Click create collection. Give your collection a name. You can call it LLM collect. You can call it LLM collect. Select an embedding method. Give it a name, select an embedding method, click bring your own, bring your own, bring your own. Now, when you click bring your own, you'll be given an option to enter dimension. Enter 768. 768. Please confirm if you are with me. Just type 768 first. Some people are already asking me after, why do we type 768? So have we all done this? So now let me explain what is the dimension. What is the dimension? Now, remember I told you that every input is converted to every text, every chunk of text is converted to a numerical representation, right? That numerical representation has a size. Every large language model has a size of vector. That's the numerical representation. For the large language, for the embedding model we are going to use, this is the size. So every chunk will be converted to 678. That there will be 678 different numbers that makes up an embedding chunk. There will be 678 different numbers that make up an embedding chunk. When you do this, click create. Click create. Okay, my name is not supported, so I'm going to take out that hyphen and click create. 768, not 678. 768. It's on my screen. You can see it on my screen. So it's still creating. Remember, we tried creating collection on the interface. And if I come back here, and click on this, see that collection I created? See that collection I created here? It's here now. So you can see that they are connected now. Now, the next thing we are going to do is to bring in our embedding model, the model that will convert these chunks to numerical representation. So type Ollama. Ollama. Yes, the vector size is for non-MIG embed. Yes, that number cannot change. You can check for it online. So if you don't know, for example, I didn't cram the embedding number of this. I just had to check for it online and I knew it. So now, bring in your embedding model. When you bring in your embedding model, if your embedder or if your Ollama is running, then you should see this. If your Ollama is running, you should see this. All you need to do is select option. You will see the option listed. If you can't find the option listed, refresh your list and you will find it. If you can't find the option listed, refresh your list and you will find it. After that, connect this to this. So this is our RAG components. If you've done this, type done. If you've done this, type done. Just 2 persons. Okay, if you've done this, type done. Now, we are going to check if this is working. We are going to check if this is working. So I'm going to run this. So click on run component on the Astra DB. Click on run component on the Astra DB. If it runs without any error, then it means we are fine. Somebody asked that I zoom in into this. I hope you've seen what you want to see. If it runs without any error, then we are good. For the node, connect this to this, embeddings to embedding model. So it's running, If yours is running, type running. If yours is running, type running. If yours is running, type running. How to run? Click on run here. You see this icon on this. Click on it. If you are having error, confirm if you use these values I have here. If you are having error, confirm if you use the values I have. If you are having error, confirm if you use the values I used. Okay, if you are having error using that value, change your chunk size, change your chunk size to 600 and an overlap of 50. Let's run it again and see. If you are having that error, change it to 600 and run it again and see. Yes, click on the run icon. Yes. If it's giving you the 400 and something error, change your chunk size to 400 and your overlap to 50. Somebody just confirmed that he did that and it worked for the person. So there are two reasons why you might be having that problem. Yeah, so one of it might be that the chunk overlap might be too large. Yeah, so if your chunk overlap is larger than your chunk size, you would have an error. Now, flow built successfully. If you saw flow built successfully, type successfully. Successfully is too long. If your flow built successfully, just type built. If your flow built successfully, just type built. If you can't find, if you have read file error, it means that you didn't upload your file here. If you're having built file error, it means you didn't upload your file. If you want to recreate your Astra DB token, use database administrator role. Some people are asking, how can we upload more than one file? Let's do one file first. Let's do one file first. All right, if you're having that error, use a chunk size of 400 and an overlap of 50. Chunk size of 400 and an overlap of 50. Make sure you have exactly what I have. You can use a chunk size of 400 and overlap of 50. Overlap of 50. Overlap of 50. Chunk size 400, overlap of 50. If your flow built successfully, typed built. If your flow built successfully, typed built. Type, not built. Chunk size of 400, overlap of 50. If you do the other way around, you would run into error. If you do chunk size of 50, overlap of 400, you would have error. If you do chunk size of 50, overlap, if you do chunk size of 50, overlap of 400, you would have error. So, but if it's going bad for you, like I said, this session is recorded. Some persons have gotten it right. It means you also can get it right. Maybe there are some error and I can't hold your hand individually to build or solve that error. Yeah, and I'm so sorry about that. I would have loved to, but it's not possible at this time. Yeah, so all you need to do is follow through. You can take down notes, ensure you still learn from this session. I promise you that. Yeah, so now let's keep this aside. The next thing we are going to do is to rebuild the other session. The next thing we are going to do is to rebuild the other session. Now, what does the other session contain? For the other session, we need an LLM brain. I'm writing it down. We need an LLM brain. This brain is what will be responsible for the output we'll be getting. the LLM brain. This is what we got the API code from Grock for. Remember, we got an API code from Grock. So we need this. That's one. That's one. Now, I'm going to, anyone I explain, I'll bring it in. So we need an LLM brain from Grock. So come down here and type Grock. Come down here and type Grock. You'd find Grock, click on it, bring it and keep it at a side. Bring it and keep it at a side. That's one thing we need. I'm going to share the PDF. I will share the knowledge base. I will share every other document with you after the session. So bring in your Grock. If you brought in Grock, type Grock. If you brought in Grock, type Grock. Type it, type it. Don't give me an emoji. I want to see you are typing it. So Grock is the brain. Some people are asking me to zoom in. If you brought in something that looks like this, type Grock. All right. Now, the next thing we want to bring in, if you remember when I was talking about what's the difference between large language model applications and traditional software application, I spoke about something called system prompts. I spoke about something called system prompts. And I told you that this system prompt is what determines how our model will behave. So every time I ask a question, the way my model will behave will be based on this system prompt. The system prompt determines how my model will behave. So if I say, what is deep learning or what is large language model, the way my model will behave will be based on the system prompt. So I need to write a prompt. I need to write a prompt that will tell my model how to behave. So I'm going to write a prompt. But before we do that, we need to bring in prompt. So type, come here, search for prompts. So you see prompt templates, prompt templates. Click it and bring it in. Just place them on one side. Prompt template. If you brought in prompt template, type prompt. The uploaded file has to be selected. If you didn't select your uploaded file, then you would have an issue. I think someone has figured out his issue or her issue himself. If you brought in prompt template, type prompts. All right, thank you guys. Now, remember we need to chat because we are building an AI assistant that looks more like a chatbot. We need a means to chat it in, and we also need a way for it to display the output. We need to be able to chat it in, and we need it to display the output. For example, I have, let me bring in ChatGPT. Excuse me. So for ChatGPT, I have a chat icon. So, and I can chat, hi. So I need to create an icon like this that allows me chat my AI tutor. Then I also need to create something that allows my AI tutor respond to me. So come to this input and click on chat in. Also click on chat out. Chat in and chat out. Chat in and chat out. If you've done that, type in and out. If you've done that, type in and out. Or you can just type in out. In and out, in out. If you've done that, type in and out or in out. So if you are lost, somebody said he is lost. I believe he just successfully completed this first part, and so he doesn't know how we got to this point. So I'm just going to tell you how we got to this point. Search for chat in, or come here, input and output, bring in and out. Just click it and bring it in. Come to model and agents, models and agents, click prompt template and bring it out. That's this prompt template. Then type Grock and bring out Grock. So we brought in these 4 different outputs. I've told us what they do. I've told us what they do. So now, the next thing we are going to do is, remember your Grock API key. Grock API key. Everybody go copy your Grock API key and paste it here. Grock API key, paste it here. Copy your Grock API key and paste it there. If you've done that, type pasted. If you've done that, type pasted. Pasted, 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 pasted. Now, the next thing I want to show you is my system prompts. I wrote a very long prompt that will determine how my model will behave. We are going to read the prompts together. This prompt will determine how my model will behave. So this is the system prompt that determines how my model would behave. So it's the system prompt. Now you can see that in the system prompt, I gave it a role. You are LearnMind AI, the specialized teaching assistant for this course. This is your mission. Now, this is the system prompt I'm going to give to my model that will determine how it will behave. Your goal is to guide learners through the materials by providing structured explanation, fostering critical thinking through the Socratic questioning, and ensuring absolute grounding in the provided material. Now, operational boundaries. Primary source, only use the provided context to answer question. If a question cannot be answered using the provided context, you must respond, I am sorry that this course is not covered in the course material. Now, this is the RAG component. This is to ensure that the model does not hallucinate. Remember that we have our model, our knowledge base, and we have our knowledge base here. So we are telling the model that use only the knowledge base here. Use only the knowledge base. If the question asked is outside of the knowledge base, do not introduce research paper, benchmark, or definition not present in the context. Do not speculate on, don't do anything outside the model. I'm going to share this. Let's understand it first, and I will share it. Now, I also gave it a style. Every is progressive style. Break the concept into logical sections using heading, use bulletin points for readability, provide a real-world analogy to simplify contents. Now, technical and mathematical intuition, use LaTeX for all notation behind every variable. Now, for beginners, focus on high-level logic and analogy. For intermediate and advanced. So basically, this is a detailed, I'm programming it how to behave. It would not behave anyhow outside of this. Now, if you need to compare terms, define both terms clearly. After defining both terms, insert a comparison table, conclude with a conclusion of when to use. Maybe I should give example of both. Now, then this is mandatory. Every response end every response with 1 or 2 reflective questions. This should not be simple yes or no questions, but prompts that require the student to reason, such as, how might retrieval strategy change? So it's going to, after it responds to you, it will ask you question. It will ask you question. So let me do this quickly. I am pasting so I've pasted. It's taking a while to paste, but it will paste it. Now, this is the tune: academic, professional, encouraging, and precise. No emoji or casual slangs. No verbose digression or fillers. Use markdown for bolding, tables, and header. Memory: if the student refers to a previous concept, briefly link the current explanation to that previous context. Now, this is how my model behaves. This is how my model behaves. Now, these other things are so important. Input schema. Let me show you something. Take a look at this. This is my prompt. I'm increasing it. Now, if you look at this prompt, it has only one node. If you look at this prompt, it has only one node. Now, this context and question will help we create extra node. The context and question will create extra node. So once I copy this and paste into my scheme, my input prompt template, it will have extra nodes. Now, if I can share this, you can. This is taking too long, and I don't know why. Okay, let me do this. I'm going to paste it in chunks. Please, nobody should paste anything on the chat. Don't paste anything on the chat for now. Don't paste anything on the chat for now. Just leave what I'm pasting. Don't paste anything on the chat. So as I'm pasting, copy it. You can copy it to a Word document. You can copy it anywhere, but don't paste anything. Don't paste anything. Make sure you copy out everything. All right, I'm done pasting. So the final thing is the response template: direct question and answer introduction, sectional heading, analogy block, comparison table, reflection table. So I'm going to copy this now and I'll paste it into my prompt. So I'm going to click on control, come to this place. Please follow me first. I said don't post anything on the chat first. So on your prompt template, click on controls. Under template, come to value. You see an empty box. Copy and paste this. You can give it space if you want. Copy and paste this. And give it space if you want. But it would understand everything you are trying to tell it regardless. But if you want to make it very, very clean, you can do that yourself, like what I'm currently doing. So immediately I paste this, because I'm pasting this and this. You can see context and question. Prompt variables can be created within a choosing name inside curly brackets. So this creates variables. So when I click this and I click close, you can see that on my prompt, I now have two more nodes: context and question. Context and question. I created them from this point. I hope we get that. Now, how many of you have copied your stuff? You've copied it. How many of you have copied it? You've copied the prompts. Copy is disabled. That's serious. Okay, I'm going to send it as a document. I'm going to send it as a document. So please, everybody hold on. I'm sending it as a document. Download it. I'm going to send it for 3 times, or let's say 5 times. After that, I won't send it anymore so that we can move on. So download it. Make sure you download it. All right, I've sent it multiple times now. If you've downloaded it, type download or downloaded. You've downloaded it. Okay, let's not type so that others can download. Let's not type so that others can download, so we don't distract them from downloading. So once you've downloaded, copy and paste into your prompts. Once you've downloaded, copy and paste into your prompts. Now we are back to this point. We are back to our Langflow interface. Now on your Langflow interface, remember I told us this is our RAG component, right? Now, when I was explaining the RAG component, I told you that there are 3 steps. You may not remember because we've said so many things, but that's completely fine. But for the RAG component, there are 3 different steps. The first step is the injection, and this is what does the ingestion. The second step is retrieval. So for us to retrieve, I'm going to duplicate this. So right-click on this and click duplicate. So I'm duplicating my database. Right-click on your database and duplicate. Right-click on your database and duplicate. If you've duplicated, type duplicated. I've shared the prompt again for those of you that did not find it initially. So if you've duplicated, type duplicated. If duplicated, type duplicated. Right-click on Astra DB, then click duplicate. Are we still together? Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
How many of us have duplicated? All right, if you've duplicated, type duplicate. If you've duplicated, type duplicate. I can see just 1 or 2. I hope we are still following me, guys. All right. Now, connect. Remember, we have one Ollama embedding. Connect your Ollama embedding to, okay, before we connect, there's something we need to do. There's something we need to do. Everybody come here, type bring in parser. Bring in parser. I'm going to explain what it does. Type parser, bring in parser. Type parser, and you will see this under processing. Under processing, bring in parser. That's bringing this. Yes, if you've done it, typed parser. What were you to duplicate? You were to duplicate the Astra DB. Click on Astra DB, duplicate. If you've duplicated Astra DB, don't duplicate it again. If you brought in parser, type parser. So you can move parser somewhere up. Now we want to start connecting all of this stuff. We want to start connecting all of this stuff. So guys, follow me. I'm going to connect embedding to this. I'm connecting this. Remember, we have one embedding. It's connected to this database. This is still exactly the same database. I'm just using 2 different, exactly the same database, but I'm duplicating it to have a clearer architecture, So this is connected to this. Now my inputs, this is where I type in my chart. So every time I type in a chart, the chat goes to the database. Sorry, every time I type in a question, let me explain it using this. So if I come here and say, what is RAG? This is my input. This import is sent to a database. Now, what happens is that this import queries the database, like I explained. It's like you are searching for something online. It begins to search for all of the chunks in the database, checking for the chunks that are related to this. Checking for the chunks that are related to this. So that's why we are connecting it to this. That's why we are connecting it to this. But remember, I also explained to you that the embedding would have to convert it to numbers. So when I type this, when I type what is RAG, it is converted to number. That number representation is now used to search through the database. The number representation is now used to search through the database. That's what we call retrieval. So that's why we connected this to this. And we also connected this to this. Do we understand, guys? If you've connected all of these, type connected. If you've connected all of these, type connected. So I'm connecting and I'm also explaining why we are connecting so that you're not just connecting things. You understand why you are connecting and what they are doing. If you've connected, type connected. Now, after that, we are also going to connect again. Remember, I told you to bring in parser. I told you to bring in parser. Now, on parser, click on stringify. Stringify. Why are we even passing? The reason why we are passing is that the way our output comes out, it comes out. How do I explain it now? I'm trying to find the right word to explain it. But let me explain it in a very basic way that we can understand. Now, let me explain. So when I type this RAG, this is converted to a number or a numerical representation. The embedder converts this to a numerical representation. Don't forget, we have a database here. We have a database. Now, this database contains numerical representations of all our knowledge base. All the chunk from our knowledge base is here. So when I type this converts it to a numerical representation. Now, this numerical representation searches the database to find the chunks that are related to it. It finds the chunks that are related to it. Now, when it finds the chunk that are related to it, it will now need to send the related chunks. It will send the related chunk to our prompt template. It will send the related chunk to our prompt template. Now, if you remember, on our prompt template, we have what we call context and question. We have context and question. Let me show you that. So on this thing, we have context and question. Question is what was asked, what is RAG, but it sends it in the numerical form. Now, when this, let me explain again. When I ask what is RAG, embedder converts it to numerical representation. Numerical representation sends it to the database, search for the relations, the ones that are close to the questions that was asked. Now, when it gets that thing, the output is called the context. The output is called the context. So we are going to send the context to the prompt template, and we're also going to send the question to the prompt template also. So we have, that's why we have context and prompt and question under the prompt template. We have context and question. So it means that I have to connect this to this as question. And I'm supposed to connect this to this as the search result. However, I need a parser. A parser is the bridge between the database and the template. So let me explain. So when this searches for the close relations, it doesn't just send it to the template, it passes it through a parser. Now that parser will convert it to a form that the large language model can take. Now it's not converting it like number to text, no, it's just changing the structure. It's changing the structure so that the large language model can process it. So that's why we have this. So what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to connect this to this, and I'm going to connect this to this. So when I ask a question, this converts the question to numerical variable or numerical representation, search for the values that are closest to the question, sends it to the parser. The parser now sends it to the prompt as template alongside with the question as template. Now, that brings us to this. So I'm going to connect this. So I'm going to send the template and the template. Remember, the template contains the context and the question. I'm going to send it to my large language model. So my large language model will use the question and the template alongside the context to answer the question. When it's done answering the question, it's going to now give me an output. So that's why we have that connection. Now, you can connect yours. Connect yours. Connect yours. Connect yours. So if you've connected, type connected. If you've connected everything, type connected. If you've connected everything, type connected. If I zoom, you won't be able to see everything. That's the thing. If I zoom, you won't be able to see everything. So, but let me tell you, connect embedding to your second database. Connect embedding to your second database. Connect input to search query. Connect input to search query. Connect input also to question under prompt template. Connect search results to data under pass. Connect pass text to context. Connect prompts to input, and connect model response to output. Thank you so much, Williams. Thank you for your kind words. So if you've connected this, type connected. Now, after this, we have our flow. Our flow is now ready. So you see playground, playground, playground. Click on playground. Click on playground and type, if it works, then I should get an output. So I'm going to type, what is RAG? If it works, then I should get an output. If I don't get an output, it means something is wrong. So you can also click on playground and type, what is RAG? Now it worked. It worked, but there is an issue here. It's not bringing out my function the way it's supposed to bring out my function. So it worked. It worked. Can you all see this, guys? Can you all see this? I'm going to go to my prompts and change something so that this won't be coming out this way. I'm going to go to my prompt. So do the same thing for your prompts. It shouldn't bring it out as latex. You shouldn't use latex. Should it use latex? Let me confirm, please. So sometimes the mathematical stuff, yeah, it's different from one to another. That was Okay, I'm going to take out latex. I'm going to take out latex and I will just say for mathematical representation, clearly explain or clearly define every variable. Provide intuitive meaning. Avoid heavy derivations unless requested. All right, so I check and save. So let me come to my playground again. Let me ask what is RAG again. And let's see if it will bring out my mathematical stuff like that anymore. So I'm asking what is RAG. Please type your own, type something. If you got an output, I want to see output. If you got an output, type output. Yes, it brought it out better now. Brought it out better now. All right, so you see you got an output. Now let's ask a question that is not in our notebook or in our this. So look at the models that was captured here. Look at the models that was captured. Let's ask it to differentiate between, before we ask it something, let's say differentiate between deep learning and machine learning. Note, I am a beginner. So let's see how it will bring out. Remember, we told it, explain first, present a table, and all of those things. So you can see how it explained it. Differentiating between this, a conceptual explanation. What is this? You can see how it explained it. Explaining concept first, giving analogy, giving technical mathematical intuition. Yeah, the mathematical stuff is not coming out where I need to fine-tune that. Giving adaptive meaning, giving a table for this thing. I didn't include images. I didn't include images. Yeah, so these are the questions at the end. You see how it works. If you go back and still make adjustments to your prompts, it will still also adjust. I'm going to take out this so that it doesn't show me Socratic closing or closer. Just reflective questions are fine. So I closed it. If I come here again and ask it, what are MCP? You can see, right? This time around, it still gave me this, but that depends on my prompts. I can still update that. So I hope you've learned something today. I hope you've learned something today. I wanted to make it much more fascinating. I wanted to make it much more fascinating by building a web interface, for it. But unfortunately, we do not have the time for that because we are already like 16 minutes or so way past our closure time. But if you want to make it more fascinating, you can use API. If you have some knowledge, you can use API. You can make it much more fascinating. Yeah, maybe I'll include that with the document I'll be sending to the host. So I believe you've learned something today. All right. Now, if you followed from the beginning till the end and you were able to build your solution, can you type, you'll be able to build your app. Can you type builder? Because you are not a builder. If you're able to build your app, can you type builder? Yes, it works like ChatGPT. But the beautiful thing is that it doesn't hallucinate. It works based on only the data set we provided. It worked on only the data set we provided. It worked on only the data set we provided. I meant type builder. If you build, type builder. All right, so it's been a fascinating session. Yeah, and I do not want you to stop here. We are stopping here because of time. Yeah, take this forward. And I think this is where joining the program, the structured program that Simplilearn provides would help. And I need you to know I'm also one of the tutors with Simplilearn. Yeah, so just in case you might meet me in class one of the days if you decide to join the session. So I'm going to be handing over to the host to take us over from here. Over to you, Anya.
Yes, thank you so much, Solomon. It's been a very, very extensive, detailed walkthrough, detailed session. Thank you so much for your patience, everyone. Just to give everyone an idea, in the last 3 hours, we would have received about 250 questions minimum. So we have been trying our best to answer each and every point. So please, let us know if there is something that we have not been able to answer. We will get back to you at the earliest. So, okay, I will be sharing my screen. I know everyone is, eager for the participation certificate. So just allow me a couple of minutes to talk about the program that we have aligned along with the workshop, and we will be launching the certificate poll soon. Right. Okay. So here are some of the most exciting components of the program. First up, the hands-on learning experience. You will get to build generative AI-powered applications through industry-relevant projects. You will work on multiple tools like we mentioned earlier, Hugging Face, Copilot, Gemini, Stability.ai, and a lot more. It is a 16-week program in collaboration with Microsoft Azure, as you can see here. You will get over 70 hours of live sessions led by industry experts, which will cover very advanced curriculum. You'll be learning advanced prompt engineering, RAG, fine-tuning models for domain-specific solutions, and a lot more. And finally, what could be more motivating than an elite certificate from Michigan Engineering Professional Education, right? So this recognition validates your expertise in Gen AI like no other. And quickly, like I will run through the curriculum of the program. It starts with the Python refresher with AI, and then there is a module on AI literacy, and then on Gen AI specifically, it is models and architecture, and then building LLM applications. I think a part of that is what you experienced in this workshop currently, but the module will cover a lot more. And then the program will also cover agentic AI frameworks with model context and tooling protocols. Then Gen AI governance, which is like, a very, very important skill in the current job market. And then advanced Gen AI image generation. There are also a couple of electives that you can choose from Microsoft. And for any course that you complete on the Microsoft Learning portal, you will be receiving a certificate as well. So we have been talking a lot about these skills, the projects, and overall, getting ready for a career in the AI space. And these learner stories really bring that conversation to life. Quickly, a couple of excerpts that I will read from. One of the testimonials is from Micah Reed from Washington. He talks about how strong instruction and projects in this program helped him turn an idea into something tangible. And Lauren King highlights that learning AI tools like Hugging Face and applying them at work has given them a great career boost. So, if you're wondering what after the program, let me quickly take you through Simplilearn's Job Assist support. You will get networking and collaboration opportunities with peers and industry mentors, which can often lead to very, very valuable career insights. There is also structured interview preparation support, including guided practice and mock assessments. So you know what to expect when you start interviewing. In addition, you can benefit from AI-powered resume assistance and LinkedIn profile enhancement to grab any hiring manager's attention. And you can explore a curation of hand-picked job opportunities to match your skills and goals. All of this is designed just to support you well beyond the classroom. So, for those of you who are interested, here are the program investment details. For Indian learners, the fee is 1,49,000 49,000 with monthly installments starting at just 6,716. For US learners, the fee is $2,995 with an installment starting at just $300 a month. For our audience from other parts of the world, sorry that we are not able to share the exact program fee in your currency, but I'm going to be sending that on chat box here so you can access the details. I have already taken a poll um, to take your interest in enrolling, but I am going to quickly launch it again. If any of you is interested to enroll in the program, please let us know in the chat. If you have any queries, you are a little unsure and you want more details, you can also click on yes. Our expert will be getting in touch with you in the next 48 hours and they will guide you through the process. Right. Solomon, maybe we can take like just one question. I know that we have run past the time, but in the time that people are taking to answer the question, we can take a couple of questions. Okay, so the first question is about, Langflow is a low code development. So how will this be relevant in the presence of vibe coding that deals with no code development?
What did you come again with the question? How does this relate to
Yes.
vibe coding?
Uh, Langflow is a low code development framework, right? There is very
Okay.
less coding involved. So how will this be relevant with, the advent of something like vibe coding, which requires no coding at all? Like it's a no code development.
All right, thank you so much. So how does this relate to vibe coding? I want to actually say that, let me explain this. If you are someone without no coding knowledge, if you are someone without any form of coding knowledge, using a no code tool is way more better than vibe coding. Why do I say so? If you are vibe coding, you wouldn't know if your outputs are wrong, especially if you do not have any knowledge of vibe coding. For example, I can write codes in Python. Now, if I write codes using large language, any large language model, I know when there are errors and I can fix the error. But if you who do not have any coding knowledge, right, you vibe code with any of these programs and you can't fix your error, you would have built a broken solution at the end of the day. But with no code tools like this, they've already been properly coded. You just need to plug and play. So there's no issue, like you don't have that challenge of running into broken codes and so on and so forth using no code tools like this. If you want to vibe code is very, very excellent, but you need some knowledge of programming to vibe coding. And I think that's where the generative AI course comes in, because we are not going to teach you just how to use no code tools. You'd also be taught programming so you can build solutions that can scale beyond what we did today in class. All right, thank you. Over to you.
Yes, thank you, Solomon, for answering that question. And if those of you, for those of you who are interested in vibe coding, we have a very, very interesting workshop coming next week on the 5th of March. We have another workshop on vibe coding where you can build your own personal AI coach. So let us know if you're interested. We would love to see you there as well. Okay, so I know that most of you have been eager to get this. So please do share your full name in the poll that I have launched. We will be able to generate the certificate and share with you on email within the next 48 working hours. In case if you're having any issues, you're not able to access the poll, please drop an email at webinars@simplilearn.net and we will be able to get back to you. Great. To all the participants, once again, thank you very, very much for spending the last 3 hours with us. You are part of the 5% of people now who have, successfully built an LLM application, or like learn to build an LLM application. So it's a huge achievement. Congratulations to all of you. We hope that you will be able to apply the learnings from this session, as well as what you'll get from our Applied GenAI specialization program to get ahead in your career. It's been very, very engaging to host you all. I think literally every one of you had, had a lot of interesting questions, a lot of good feedback to share. So thank you so much for being here. And Solomon, of course, thank you so much for your guidance and for sharing your knowledge. It has been an
Thank you.
absolute pleasure hosting you. It was a brilliant session. Do you have any final remarks to share? Any advice for our learners?
All right, so I want to just advise that, first of all, thank you for this opportunity. Yeah, it's really a great time. And I want to say to the learners that we are in the world of immense opportunity. Yeah, you can see that we literally built this solution without needing to pay any dime for it. Yeah, so if you are not learning about all of these things, you are actually shortchanging yourself. So my advice for everyone is join the session. One of the things that the session provides you is that it provides you a structured learning platform. Yeah, like I said, I'm one of the tutors, and this is just one of the tip of the iceberg for what you can get out of this structured session. Imagine going through something like this for 6 months. Yeah, you can't come out being the same. Yeah, so I look forward to seeing you guys in one of my class sessions. Thank you, Anya, once again for the opportunity. I look forward to doing this
Yeah.
another time.
Yes, amazing. Thank you so much, Solomon. With those wise words, we are wrapping up the session. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here.